Hey, good morning, everyone. We had a really good day yesterday. Hopefully, things are getting back on track for us with our story trading and swing trading, which has worked so well for us in previous years. Been a little bit tough the last couple of months, but we had a couple big wins here. So, first, major indices. QQQ, SPY, ARKK. ARKK is, let's look at this for a second. Okay, we are in a bear market rally, but is it possible the bottom's in? I think it is possibly possible. Okay, I've been talking about this 200-week moving average for a long time, but we have to monitor commodity prices. If commodity prices continue to plummet, copper, oil, agriculture, things like that, if those prices plummet quickly and stay down, it's possible we don't go below this 200-week moving average and the bottom possibly could be in. All right. I know for a long time I've been telling you this is my target, and I suspected we'd break below it and go into a multi-quarter, maybe even multi-year malaise until the economy turns around. And that's all based on the idea of stagflation, meaning this exogenous issue of supply chain issues from China and war in Russia and Ukraine would keep our commodity prices high and make it really hard to get out of this recession. If commodity prices drop and don't stay high, then we can quickly get out of a recession. So this is something to monitor here at the 200-week moving average. I will tell you this, RK, I think either way may have hit a bottom because we held the 35 bottom as the QQQ and SPY kept hitting much lower lows in the past few weeks. But RK held the 35, and now it's trying to challenge the 50-day moving average, which is the very key moving average. It's doing far better in that respect than the Nasdaq is, 50 days all the way at 308, and SPY over here all the way 404. So RK risk assets doing really well lately. Bitcoin holding over 20,000 at $13 is definitely way above 20,000. I don't have the chart in front of me. So this is a little bit concerning to the thesis, right? Of a bullish economy thesis. Oil's up today, so we got to monitor that. All right, so let's go to a huge nice wins we had yesterday. XXII brought to our attention months ago, by the way, by Polo in our community. So I've had it on my watch list, and then they had the news from the Biden administration that they want to reduce nicotine in cigarettes. Now we went through the thesis yesterday about how XXII has these cigarettes that have 95% less nicotine, so they're really well positioned for this. And they put out a statement. The company did yesterday. SEAC 22nd Century Group up 20%, praises to U.S. nicotine announcement. So yesterday I got in early in the morning at like 197. I had a little more 205. We had a couple targets out there, one being yesterday, the previous day's high at 230. I just rounded it down to the psychological number 230. It was actually 232. And then we also had the 200-day moving average, which is at 242. And for the purposes of my targets, I lowered that to 240 again for a whole number and a psychological point. So I sold some at 230, sold some at 240. And after hours last night, I even sold some at 255. Now you can see here it's at 263. So we broke 265 actually. So we broke now above the 200 DMA. We closed above it yesterday. So what comes after that? I'd like to switch to the weekly charts to see what might come next. So if you look at the weekly moving average, you see here 258 was a 50-week moving average, and it's currently above that. So I don't have a good handle on what this is worth fundamentally with this news. We know sentiment-wise and catalyst-wise, it's very bullish right now as it's hitting new pre-market highs over here right now. I actually have a sell order for some of my shares at 285 in case that triggers in pre-market. And I got that number from Vince in our community. Is very good with technicals. He put a resistance level of 289 on this. And again, I always like to bring it down just a little bit to the nearest like large multiple. So I went to 285 on my sell order for another big chunk of my trading shares. So if that happens pre-market, I think I'd be able to buy back lower. So let's go 267. Let's go. All right. So that's XXII. That's been a great trade for me. And we'll be, continuing the collaboration with Polo, who knows this company best. He thinks it will be bought out eventually. And, what I'd like to do is try to get more of a handle on the fundamentals here and what this company might be worth. I mean, their revenue multiple is huge, right? It looks like fundamentally it's very expensive. So this is all about the future and speculation of what it could be worth in the future, as this legislation could help increase their sales and also help them possibly get bought out from a large tobacco company. So that's what this story is all about. XXII 264 by 267. All right, exciting. Um, we nailed LLKKF. Okay, this is doesn't open. You're not going to see the bid ask until a few minutes before the open. It's in the pink sheets here. In Australia, it was up 15% after the webinar last night. It is going to imply a 8.5% open at 56 cents. So I think we did a great show on it yesterday. All our collaborative research basically showed that the CEO left because the company wanted to make a change, right? It wasn't because the CEO left because there's a problem with the company. They wanted a better CEO. They wanted a CEO who could help scale in North America. And they offered the current CEO and co-founder basically a demotion, a different position, and he didn't want to take that. He left. That's the story here, and I think the bounce back is going to start. Has started. It started after the webinar, after the chairman had a chance to explain all of that last night on the webinar. In anticipation of the event, it was going up. It was up 20%. It closed up 15%. So anyway, my target here is the 200-day moving average, which is all the way up at 82 cents, right? We're going to open at 56 cents today. I might even add after the news today. It was a very, very good presentation. I encourage you to seek out that replay. We have the link to it. By the way, we're oversold levels on the RSI. I advise, seek out that replay. But I will say, though, just a reminder, this is a speculative investment, speculative trade, speculative company, because they're still pre-revenue. And it's very possible. Let me switch to the daily on his 6 months. It's very possible this entire move here, it got way overvalued. That's very possible. Okay. Now that it's on a major exchange, it can be shorted. Apparently, it was harder to short it before it was on a major exchange. It's on Australia. It went into a major index, not an exchange, but they got uplisted to like a major index, which forced institutions to buy, and that frees up shares to be shorted because there's their shares, whereas retail was not lending out their shares. So now there's more shares available to short, possibly bringing this down. And also, you have to be aware of recession, commodity prices dropping, things like that. So there could be more to this story here than just the CEO leaving, which is why I'm targeting about 200 DMA. I'm not going to get greedy, like 50 cents, 55 cents. I think 55 cents was probably my entry on this, to 80 cents, which is my target. That's going to be a great trade. So that's the story on LLKKF. And I may keep some long term. It was a great webinar last night. And if they're successful, this could definitely be a $3-4 stock in a few years. All right. Couple more items, two more. SEAC. I noticed this in my newsfeed. Karen Singer. Now, this is interesting. Karen Singer filed an amended 13D filing, said she believes C-Chain should look to refresh and reduce its board, removing and replacing the chairman, Bob Pons, and then she purchased, you can see here, 491,000 shares at an average price of 53 cents. I have to look at that Form 4. I'm curious when that happened because the stock has not been 53 cents for like 5 days or something. So I don't know how many days you have to file the Form 4. Usually I see them coming in like the next day. So anyway, have to see how she got those 53-cent shares. But in any case, let me tell you what's going on here. Karen Singer was against the Triller acquisition from the start, and they needed her approval to go through with that process of reverse merging with Triller. And they persuaded her to sign something called a support agreement that would mean that she would agree to vote in favor of the reverse merger. And during this process, at some point, because of the delays, their support agreement expired, and Karen Singer did not renew it. And I guess that should have been the first warning sign that something could have been amiss, right? Well, at least it showed she wasn't happy, and she didn't want to sign that she'll definitely do this reverse merger. So anyway, now not only is she buying these shares, but she's trying to force out the chairman. It looks to me like there was a disagreement here on the board, and the chairman really pushed through this reverse merger idea with Triller, and Karen Singer was against it. And now that everything fell apart, she's pissed and she wants him out. That looks to be what's going on here. Now, this rather large insider buy, 53 cents. There was another insider buy, by the way, the week before that, by another director, I believe, or another insider. I don't know if it was a director or another insider. So that's now two inside purchases since the reverse merger fell through. And yeah, you know what? I should have more patience. I kind of regret selling at like 50 cents or so, where I did, took a big loss after the merger didn't go through. And now you see it's 58 cents. The whole thesis was there's a limited downside if the merger doesn't go through. So, I guess you have to wait a week or two for that to happen, for this to go back to the price it was trading at, which it very well could. It could end up going back to 68, 70 cents here in a short period of time. So I'm not advising a buy or anything like that. I don't know what's going to do today. Obviously, when you have a big insider buy, it could be a catalyst for the stock to do well today. But I just find this to be really revealing about what was going on behind the scenes, about the support for the agreement, and how Karen Singer is obviously not happy with the chairman over there. So that's the interesting story. I'm sorry, I just got a peek at XXII. There it is, 268 by 269. All right. So, wow, that's fun. Hopefully, we hit my 285 sell order this morning. Okay. And then we have the last thing I want to mention is DRIO. DRIO, I think it may be time to get in here. Don't worry about the 549. 522 is your price. That's a bid. So this stock has been down like 8 consecutive days, and it barely closed green yesterday. I remember the catalyst was they got this debt deal, which some people didn't like. But there is a theory out there on StockTwits by a couple people saying that this sell-off has to do with the Russell rebalancing, which has to be done by today, end of day today. Now, I'm not sure what to think of that, because I know, Mark Gomes talks about the Russell rebalancing, and over the years I've heard him say that process finishes a couple weeks before the deadline. So I don't know. Is it possible that that's not always the case? I don't know the mechanics behind it. Is it possible that rebalancing has been actively happening here the last few days and is going to finish up today, or maybe just finished up yesterday? I think I'm willing to take a chance that that's true, because the stock is down so much, right? And the market's been up, and particularly Teladoc, the space has been doing well, right? Teladoc, I think there's a chance that the thesis is correct, and this is because of the Russell rebalancing, and the stock may be ready to take off. Now, the other thing is it's June 24th. So there's a possibility that we get that huge announcement that we're looking for by the end of next week, by next Friday, or maybe the following Monday. Monday, I don't know if we're open that day, when July 4th is, but it's possible we get that huge announcement of the national insurer very, very soon. So I think it may be worth possibly taking a trading position, overweight position in DRIO at these prices. So, guys, that's the story. You can see a bid starting to stack now, finally, an LLKKF. You have a 55-cent bid. This is something I may be willing to buy more of today. XXII, I'd love to trade this. I'd love to sell it at 285, get back in. By the way, I'm holding another. This is just half of my position that I've designated as a trade position. The other half I'm holding right now until we'll see, until Polo tells me it's time to get out, possibly. All right. So that's XXII. And DRIO, I might step into that. SEAC, I may monitor it. We'll see what's going on. And that's the story, guys. Great collaborative research by everyone. Couldn't have done this without Tony on LLKKF, and without Polo on XXII, without Matt Kolb on SEAC. So lots of collaborative research going on in our VIP community. Thank you so much. We'll continue collaborating in the rooms, guys. Have a great day.